Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. I'm Rodo Alvarez, your host today, and we're going to be talking today with our webinar, the pros and cons of all-inclusive vacations here in Costa Rica. As you can see on the screen, my email and my special guest today is also there. So feel free to drop us a line anytime if you want to go into details, as well as asking us any questions after this webinar. Um, Joining me today is Teresa Parent. Hi, Teresa. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Rhoda. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Teresa. I know you guys are very busy, so I appreciate your taking your time to come here with me. Very important to mention to our audience today is that during the presentation, you're going to see some videos. And those videos come from our YouTube channel, Video Library. So if any one of you, again, is interested in see more videos of hotels and tours, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you're going to have some fun there. Our agenda today, Teresa, is very simple. We're going to be talking about Costa Rica, why Costa Rica is an interesting destination for people who's interested to come and have their all-inclusive vacations. We'll also be talking about what to do in Costa Rica in terms of, the activities and the hotel locations, and especially we'll be talking about some of the all-inclusive hotels that are here in Costa Rica and that we at Costa Rican Vacations recommend. And finally, we'll be making some tips, or we'll be giving some tips or things to consider when people are planning their all-inclusive vacations before we take some questions from the audience at the end. But for the questions, you guys can feel free to let us know your questions anytime as we talk, and feel free to post them on the chat box you see below. You can either sign in with your social media or just click guest on the right, the guest option on the right, and you will be done. You will be able to post your questions as no sign-in is required. We'll be also talking about, real quick, about a quiz that will help everyone to discover their travel personality. And we'll be giving a special offer for everyone today. For those of you who don't know about Teresa, she first came here to Costa Rica as part of an international program while she was in college, and came back again as part of the Peace Corps, and finally decided to stay and settle down here in Costa Rica more than 5 years ago. Is that right, Teresa?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I actually, like you said, I came down to study Spanish and finance for a semester while I was in college. Did Peace Corps after college in Honduras, and then finally moved back to my second home here in Costa Rica.
Yeah. So why don't we start talking about all-inclusive vacations here in Costa Rica?
Perfect.
So the first thing that I'd like to ask you, Teresa, is why do you think it's important to talk about Costa Rica? Whenever you see people ask you about Costa Rica, what is it that you see there?
Well, I think for me, what brought me to Costa Rica and what interests so many people in traveling to Costa Rica are four main things: adventure, wildlife, the culture, and of course, safety. Costa Rica is well known as an adventure destination. There are a lot of adventure tours like whitewater rafting, our signature tour, the canopy zipline, waterfall rappelling, just to name a few. And then, of course, with the wildlife, 20% of Costa Rica's land is actually protected national parks and reserves, which offers an abundance of wildlife. Of course, the famous monkeys, sloths, a lot of marine life if you're a snorkeler or a PADI certified diver, great birding, as well as reptiles.
Yeah, a lot of things to do and see here.
Right. And then, of course, the culture. This is probably what brought me here the first time. It's just the very laid-back culture, the pura vida lifestyle, and the ticos. They're just so friendly and so welcoming. And then for a lot of families, especially, well, any traveler new to Costa Rica, just the safety. It's an extremely safe country. It's the safest country in Central America.
Yeah, and when people come here, or whenever they think they're coming to Costa Rica, and sometimes, you know, like they already been to the Caribbean islands, they say, oh, I want to go to Costa Rica and I want to go all inclusive again because I did it, you know, like in Bahamas or the Cancun. And but one thing that they need to know and they keep in mind, as you see it on the screen, is that here it's all about nature. It's all about having access to nature. Even though the infrastructure in Costa Rica is good, you know, they're not going to find like the big hotels, you know, with those 7,100 rooms, because hotels here are different.
Right, absolutely. Costa Rica, as well as some of these other destinations that offer a wide variety of all-inclusive hotels. Costa Rica as well has beautiful beaches, but we also have a little bit more to offer as far as the rainforest, the wildlife, and just a lot of activities you can do outside of the resorts.
And that's one of the reasons why I think people come here, because they know we're an eco-friendly destination now.
Yeah, no, exactly. And in fact, you know, Costa Rica just hit a major milestone. We've accomplished 75 days in a row powered 100% by renewable energy. So quite impressive. So Costa Rica is a very green destination. We even have a lot of boutique hotels, especially some of my favorite, the Cayuga property line, that prides themselves on being green and eco-friendly.
And their service is just top-notch.
Oh, they're fantastic. Great service, food, and just beautiful, beautiful hotels.
Yeah, the food, yes, that's something that it's actually very related to the countries, because, you know, sometimes when the people come here, they think that our food is going to be like in Mexico, you know, like it's going to have some Tabasco and spicy food, and our food, it's absolutely different, which I think enriches the experience, the cultural experience here in Costa Rica.
No, exactly. I mean, food and dining out is such a big part of a lot of people's vacation. I know it's a huge part of, you know, when I travel, I love to explore different restaurants and get outside the hotel and check out local cuisine. So Costa Rica has some very delicious dishes, as well as a variety of tropical fruits that are always fun to explore and try out.
And you know what? And I think that, as you said, most of the hotels here are just like 50, 30 rooms or less, and that gives like a more private and personalized sense of your vacation. So it's more like this boutique experience.
Right, yes, about 80 to 85% or more of the hotels in Costa Rica are small boutique hotels. So boutique meaning about 30 rooms or less, some of them even having 10 rooms or less. So it definitely offers better service, more unique experience, better quality, and just an overall more personal vacation.
Yeah, and now talking about what to do here in Costa Rica, there are so many things to do here in Costa Rica. The country is actually very famous for all the outdoors activities, you know, like being our signatures activities, the zip lining, whitewater rafting, as you said, surfing, and of course the nature walks. You can practically do most of these activities all over the country, but there are some areas where any of these are definitely better. It's practically, and that's when our local expertise and the professional help comes into part.
Right, exactly, Rodo, and it really is on a case-by-case basis, depending on what your interests are and what you'd like to do and see and accomplish while you're here. But I do have to say the three major highlights, or the three main destinations that most travelers do experience on their first time, are Guanacaste, Arenal, and Manuel Antonio.
So why don't we start talking about Guanacaste?
Oh, perfect, yes. So Guanacaste, or the Gold Coast, is up in the North Pacific. It is the driest part of the country, so year-round it offers wonderful weather conditions, a lot of sunshine, a lot of beach opportunities. And the nice thing about Guanacaste is it's close to the Liberia airport. A lot of the beach destinations are anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour from the International Liberia airport.
Right. And another thing that I like about Guanacaste area is this special, probably is the best place to go for anything that has to do with water sports.
Right, yes, if you're into kayaking, jet skis, parasailing, and if, like I said, snorkeling, diving, there's some great marine life opportunities to explore. And this is also where all the all-inclusive hotels are located up in the Guanacaste region.
That's correct. That's where all the resorts are, and why don't we start talking about them?
Well, sure, yeah, and in Costa Rica, it's important to keep in mind that there are only a handful of these all-inclusive options. There's only about 5 or 6 total. 3 of my favorite are the Westin Playa Conchal, Flamingo Beach Resort, and Dreams Las Mareas. The Westin, my personal favorite of the 3, is a 5-star resort up on Playa Conchal, which is one of the only white sand beaches on our Pacific. It offers a little bit of something for everyone. They have an adults-only portion of the resort in their royal service. If you're wanting a more intimate experience with your partner, they have spa, golf, again, that beautiful white sand beach. And overall, it's just a little bit more of a higher end all-inclusive experience.
And they also have their family section, which is great, you know, whenever you're traveling with your family.
Exactly. Yeah, they even have a kids club. So if you want to drop the kids off for a couple hours and go off on your own, that is an option.
Yes. And how about for those who don't want to break their bank?
Well, like I said, the Westin is a little bit more higher end. If you're looking for something a little bit more moderate, further north up the coast is Flamingo Beach Resort. Flamingo Beach Resort is also beachfront, beautiful white sand beach, absolutely amazing sunsets. The nice thing about Flamingo Beach Resort, and one of the reasons it is a little bit more moderate, is because some of the rooms are larger. So you can fit, for example, a larger family of 3, 4, 5, or even 6 up into one room.
Yeah, and the sunsets at Flamingo Beach is probably the best in the country.
Some of the best pictures, sunset pictures I have been up there.
Yeah, and how about the Dreams Las Mareas?
So Dreams Las Mareas, I actually haven't had the luxury of visiting this yet. It's brand new. I hope to get up there in the next month. But I do have a couple coworkers who have been, and they've told me they really liked it. It's a higher end experience. They have delicious dining. It's right on the Jojobo Beach, so it's the furthest north. It's actually probably going to be the most remote of the 3 as well.
Yeah, but one thing that probably it's good to know and let our audience today is that whenever they come and they think of, you know, having a beach-only vacation in Costa Rica, Guanacaste is the region, you know.
Yes, it is one of the better regions if you're looking for just a beach vacation. It does, like we said, it offers beautiful beaches up and down the coast. Just to keep in mind, though, just to experience some of those activities that we mentioned that Costa Rica is known for, you do have to head inland for a little bit. It's usually about an hour or 2 to experience some of these national parks, wildlife, and adventure tours. So that's another reason why we like to also recommend and incorporate RNL into an itinerary, just so that you do get the best of both worlds.
That's true.
Yeah, you do get the best of both worlds in the sense of rainforest, wildlife, and those scenic and adventure tours on top of those beautiful beaches in Guanacaste.
So why don't we start talking about RNL?
Yeah, well, RNL, it is the adventure hub of Costa Rica. It's really has something for everybody. You can do waterfall rappelling, which is one of my favorite adventure tours, and whitewater rafting, canopy zip lines, along with more scenic activities like the hanging bridges. Of course, the thermal hot springs are over there. So again, just a little bit of something for everyone. Just it's important to keep in mind, talking about the all-inclusive topic, that there are no all-inclusives in this region. And the reason being is because all of the hotels come with breakfast, and you're going to spend a fair amount of your time taking advantage of everything this region has to offer doing these activities.
Yep, I agree with you. The day trips that they offer in RNL, most of them they come with lunch, so that makes things a lot easier for them. It's definitely a must. Whenever people think about having an active vacation, or they're animal lovers, RNL is the area to go. And another thing that I'd like to mention is the location of the area. No matter where you land, you can land either in Guanacaste or in San Jose area. RNL is located just 3 hours away from them, so it's easier for everyone to split their vacations and get the most of the country, as you said.
Right. Sometimes it's a little bit of a hesitancy with some travelers to do two different locations, but we make it very easy. We meet you right at either airport. Either airport, San Jose or Liberia, is the same distance to RNL. It's about 2.5, 3 hours, and we set it all up, make it very easy to get there. So it's definitely worth checking out.
And I think that people, whenever they come here and they want to go to RNL, they do want to get those stunning pictures of the volcano with the cone perfect shape that it has, you know.
Yes, it's definitely an iconic volcano here. There are many, but this one is very picturesque in the sense that it is perfectly cone shaped.
Exactly. So why don't we move and talk about Manuel Antonio area, which is in the Central Pacific of the country.
Oh yes, Manuel Antonio. It is a crowd favorite, and the reason being is because you have that lush tropical rainforest that leads right up to beautiful coastlines. So you do have the best of both worlds in Manuel Antonio. You have the rainforest wildlife right there. You're able to see a bunch of mammals like the 2- and 3-toed sloth, monkeys, all 3 different species, toucans, macaws, as well as take advantage of some beach time.
Yep, and I think that now that you mentioned the beach time, this is going to be like a very good destination for everyone that has to come here and they just want to go to the beach, but they don't have like a lot of time. They just want to come here and spend the weekend or just 4 or 5 days, but they want to see the rainforest, and they want to sit their cocktails on the beach. Manuel Antonio is probably the best option because it combines both of the elements and it's really close. It's just 3 hours from the airport in San Jose.
Right, right. It is another great beach destination along with Guanacaste. But like I said, Manuel Antonio offering perhaps a little bit more. It's more lush, it's more tropical. So you do have more of that rainforest surrounding with Manuel Antonio.
One thing that it's important to say is that most of the hotels here are located on top of the hill. So they have amazing ocean views, but they're not beachfront.
Right, that is something important to keep in mind. Unlike Guanacaste, Manuel Antonio, it's located on a bluff, so a lot of the hotels are going to just be a short walk or shuttle ride down to the beach, but they're not necessarily going to be beachfront. There are a couple hotels that offer beach access, but the majority are going to be up on the hillside.
And the good thing is that the hotels that we work with, they offer the free shuttle to the beach, right. So it's a treat. You know, you don't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
And again, this place is amazing. It's beautiful. The hotels are great. They come with breakfast and once again, many activities to choose from. So you don't have to worry. Even though you don't get the all-inclusive option at the hotels, you do get most of your meals once you build your vacation package with us.
Right. So Manuel Antonio, like RNL, doesn't offer all-inclusive hotels. But again, a lot of these hotels are going to have breakfast and you're going to be doing activities that are going to incorporate a lunch. So no need for all-inclusive there.
Right. And I'd like to remind everyone, before we keep our conversation, Teresa, to enter their questions, submit your questions. It's really easy. You can post your questions on the chat box you see below the video. You can either sign in with your social media or just click guest option on the right. And no sign-in is required. So it's really easy for you to post your question. This is the very funny part, because this is now what we say, like the things to consider when planning your all-inclusive vacation here in Costa Rica. You are a very well-known travel expert. You have traveled extensively throughout the country, and you live these things day by day. So how about if we take some of the things, you know, like the regular things or the things that we see every day whenever people plan their vacations and they say, oh, I want to go all-inclusive, but bam, there's something there.
Yeah, I think it's important just to mention, too, that a lot of times people say they want all-inclusive just because they want it to be very easy and stress-free and easy to plan. But that's our job. We do make it easy and stress-free. So starting off for honeymoons or anniversaries, we often get clients that want to have a more intimate experience, and then they mention all-inclusive. So there are some options in these all-inclusive hotels, like the Westin, that has an adults-only portion of the resort, to make your experience there a little bit more personal, a little bit more intimate. But there are plenty of beautiful romantic boutique hotels, not necessarily all-inclusive like we mentioned, that come with breakfast, and then you can plan plenty of activities to enjoy Costa Rica, and those will come with it.
And it will help them build better memories, like in the forest, in the mountains, and the beach.
Exactly.
I would also like to add to this that for those of you who are interested in, like planning your honeymoon or anniversary, our next webinar, it's called Secrets for Your Honeymoon here in Costa Rica. My special guest will be Lisa Sederberg, and that's going to be on April the 29th. So stay tuned, and I will be more than happy to have you with me again next month, April the 29th. Now, Teresa, let's talk about families with teenagers and when they think about their all-inclusive vacation.
Well, when I get families with teenagers that want to plan an all-inclusive vacation, of course, I always recommend RNL because teens especially love that adventure aspect. So they do want to do a lot of those adventure tours, water tours, and RNL, again, is the best place to do so. And then if they insist on doing all-inclusive for the beach portion, just keep in mind that any teenager 12 and over is still going to be paying adult rates. So those adult rates include alcohol. So it really goes on a case-by-case basis. Teenagers, growing teenagers, sometimes can eat a lot of food.
Right.
So sometimes it can be worth it. But if you have a teenager that doesn't eat as much, maybe something in a beach town would be a better fit.
What do you think about families with children, younger children?
Yeah, again, it's really case by case, and I do recommend that split stay between RNL and the beach with an all-inclusive. The nice thing about all-inclusive and younger kids is there are some kids clubs at these resorts. So it is nice to be able to have the kids in the area playing and interacting with other children while the adults can have some alone time. So that is a nice aspect of it. But again, there are opportunities in Manuel Antonio, for example, to be able to experience and see that wildlife up close, which is always a highlight for a lot of families.
Yeah, and Manuel Antonio is actually a good place, and because sometimes you know how kids are, and parents, whenever they come and reach us, they usually come and say, oh, my daughter loves the sloth, or my son is very much into ants or monkeys, and I would love to see them see these animals. So again, Manuel Antonio might be a good option, or just, as you said, split in their vacations with Arnold area.
Yeah, hands down, Manuel Antonio is the best place to not only see wildlife, because there are other opportunities in Arenal Guanacaste, but Manuel Antonio is so unique that in the respect that you're going to see wildlife up close. Especially for younger children and families with younger children, it's a lot easier for those kids to be able to see the wildlife when it's right in front of them.
Right. How about with those big family celebrations or meetings with families that they usually come here for holidays?
Right, so we do get a lot of family reunions or birthdays, even corporate or group events, and all-inclusive can be easier just so that everything is paid up front. You don't have to worry about who owes what when you're here for meals.
Right.
So all-inclusive is a great option, but I also like to recommend something a little bit more unique, a villa rental. A lot of the villa rentals will come with an all-inclusive option or a meal plan so that you have your own chef, bartender, maid service right in the villa, and everybody's under one roof. It makes it a more unique, intimate experience for the group, especially for families.
Exactly. It's a private ambience, and yes, as you said, they can get the adjoining rooms and the all-inclusive meal plan at the hotels, but this is something different, unique, and certainly, again, it's all about the experiences, it's all about having a great time, and maybe renting a villa, it's smarter.
Yeah, I personally think it's a great idea, especially for bigger families.
And what do you think of what would you say to those who say, oh, I want to explore, I want to see the attractions, I want to take day trips from my all-inclusive hotel?
Yeah, and when I have clients that ask me about all-inclusive, my first question for them is, why did you choose Costa Rica? What do you want to do here? What activities do you want to do? And a lot of times they'll say they want to experience the rainforest and see the wildlife and do these adventure tours, but the best way to do that, again, is to head inland at the Arenal volcano just to start off your trip, and then mix it up with the beach. It really is the best of both worlds.
Right. Now that you mentioned that, I'd like to go ahead and move on to the quiz that we mentioned at the beginning. This quick quiz is very simple. It helps us understand what kind of traveler you are, and you just have to click the yellow button below the video, and it basically is going to help us match you with the travel personality, with your travel personality, your interests, and we're going to make some recommendations and some personalized answers via email back to you. No matter if you have previously signed up or not, you can still take the quiz. Just simply click the yellow button below the video that you on your screen. And we're going to start taking some questions from our audience. I'd like to go ahead and take the first one I see here, Teresa. It says, if I stayed in San Jose, are there private shuttles available to the beach?
If you stayed in San Jose, well, San Jose isn't necessarily a place where I would spend the duration of your trip. It's where I live. It's my home, so it's enjoyable. However, most of what Costa Rica has to offer as far as wildlife and adventure tours and scenic activities is all going to be a good 3 to 4 hours outside of San Jose. So it's not something you would do as a day trip, no.
No, but we do offer private transfers going to the beach.
Right, of course, of course. So if you fly into San Jose, we have a transfer right there at the airport waiting for you. So they'll take you right to the beach, and there are some fantastic stops along the way. You can stop at Rio Tarcoles, for example, on your way to Manuel Antonio to check out some of the world's largest crocodiles. You can stop for a local dish for lunch. So the transfers are a nice way to experience a little bit more of Costa Rica and see the countryside.
Correct. And I think that is going to help us to answer a question that I see here. It says, how to get from the San Jose airport to Manuel Antonio? Well, as we said.
Exactly that. Yes, we'll pick you up right at the airport. And another alternative is if you don't want to make that ground transfer, and if it's timed well, you can do some domestic flights to it to make it about a 30-minute transfer.
I also took a couple of the previous questions that people sent beforehand, and I have one that says, I prefer beachfront all-inclusive hotels, but I want to be able to go to the rainforest, the hot springs, and the volcano for the day.
Right, yes, this is a very common question. Those all-inclusive hotels are going to be about 3 or more hours to the Arenal volcano where you have the famous hot springs. And there are tour operators up in Guanacaste that do offer full day trips to Arenal volcano. It's not something I would recommend. It's usually about 3 hours each way, so that's 6 hours in a shuttle.
Right.
So it is best to make the most of that region because there is so much to do and see and spend a good 3 or 4 nights there.
They're going to spend a lot of time navigating on the roads, and they're probably going to, they're going to feel like they wasted their day.
And it just deserves so much more. There's just so much to do in that region.
Exactly. I have another one here. It says, I've stayed in the Caribbean before, and I love that they had a free shuttle taking me to their sister hotels to spend my day.
Great question. I think it's important to emphasize that Costa Rica is not an island. It's not an island destination, nor does it offer a lot of the hotels that some of these island destinations promote. So what I mean by that is, while we do have some all-inclusive hotels here, it's not a huge strip of hotels where you just hop from pool bar to pool bar. They're all miles away from each other, and they're very isolated. So we only have about 4 or 5 to choose from in country, and they are far apart. They're not a huge strip of all-inclusive hotels.
And there isn't any shuttle, actually.
No shuttle.
Because each hotel, as you said, they're located at different places. Each of their own, they have their own personalities and something unique about them, and the hotel, they just don't offer the shuttle.
Right, and I think a lot of travelers looking for that experience that you find in some of those other destinations, perhaps are looking for options for restaurants and bars, and if that is the case, Costa Rica can fulfill that wish. We just recommend staying in a beach town, like Tamarindo, for example, where there's a great amount of nightlife for you.
Okay, time's up, Teresa. That was very fast. Once again, I'd like to go ahead and thank everyone. But before we leave, and like I said at the beginning, we have a special promotion today. For those of you who want to get a free quote from us, you can simply drop us a line to any of the emails that you see on the screen and put on the subject line, webinar all inclusive. Again, webinar all inclusive. That way we can identify you, and we're going to give you a free tour for the next 1 week vacation that you book with us.
Wonderful. Yes, I'd be happy to help you plan that.
So that's a great treat. Again, just drop us a line and put on the subject line, webinar all-inclusive vacation, and from your 7-night stay here in Costa Rica, we're going to give you a free tour. I also would like to remind about our next webinar, which is Secrets for Your Honeymoon here in Costa Rica. It's going to be with our colleague, Lisa Setterberg, and that's going to be on April the 29th. And I don't want to leave today, Teresa, without thanking you.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Happy to be here. Thank you, Rodo.
Thank you. Like I said at the beginning, I know you guys are very busy, and it's an honor to have you here.
It's always great to see you.
And finally, I want to thank everyone. Oh, okay. I see one more here.
One more question?
Yeah. Do you mind if I take one?
Oh, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. It says, I will be staying with my friends in Costa Rica and then with my partner. We want to go to Manuel Antonio for only 2 or 3 days. Do you provide services to organize such short trip hotels like this as well?
So a shorter 2 or 3 night stay with friends, that is something we can organize. It's not something of the norm. Normally with doing an international flight down here, that can be 7 hours, and an international ticket can be quite expensive. We usually recommend a longer stay, but it is something we can plan. I mean, we customize our itineraries. We create them from scratch. So we create them around your dates and what you'd like to do and see. So definitely, that's something we can do.
Yeah, I would like to tell this person, just feel free to drop us a line and tell us when is it that you're coming, and tell us more about you, your interests, and either Teresa or myself will be more than happy to help you plan in this 2 or 3 days trip to Manuel Antonio. And like I said, thank you, Teresa.
Oh, thank you.
And I would like to thank everyone for joining us today, and I hope you have a great day. You have a great day, and bye-bye.
Bye.